Welcome to Dolan Auto Group's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Sonic, America's Drive-In, with your hosts Dan Gustin and Ethan O'Brien. Brought to you by Gustin Sports Productions and Nevada Sports Net. Local high school basketball action starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Spanish Springs High School. It's regional championship basketball. I'm Dan Gustin along with Ethan O'Brien, and you've got the home team, Spanish Springs. Well, once again, we are back at Spanish Springs High School. Teams are starting to get loosened up and we're starting to feel that vibe about the game getting ready to start. I want to remind you, if you want a credit union that has your back and real solutions, then One Nevada Credit Union is the place for you. So let's take a look at this segment of our starters in tonight's ball game. And our pregame show, of course, brought to you by the people at Savage & Son. If you want plumbing done right the first time, call Savage & Son. For the Galena Grizzlies, so I guess you would say they're the visitors because the other team's the home team. Plays here all year long. Isaiah Duvet, young man can make things happen. Chase Nelson gives them some inside power when they need it. Jack Cherry, a guy who can shoot from the outside. The thing is, he makes a couple and he stops shooting. He's got to keep shooting. Isaac Wood also more than a formidable threat from beyond the arc. And then Porter Rasmussen. No, he didn't play the last time we had these guys because he broke a finger. We thought he was out for the year. I saw the two fingers are taped together on his right hand, but he's going to start.
They're going to need to go to the house and take up some space in the paint. Big addition. Glad he's back. May not be 100%, but just having him out there on the floor, I think is a big lift for Galena.
For Spanish Springs, even though they're the host of this regional tournament, it is their home floor. They started an all-senior lineup. Hollenbeck and Hummel are guys who are just hard-working, blue-collar guys. So does Kaltenbacher. They're the same kind of guys, but the guys that they rely on as scoring are Mason Whitaker and Cordell Stinson. And Stinson, you know, nobody will admit that he's banged up a little bit, but he's not 100%. He's somewhere between 70 and 80%. So how long he can go and how effectively he can go tonight is a big question mark.
Well, yeah, you know, at this point in time in the season, then no one's really 100%, but you know, he's the one that he's a concern because if he gets hit on that shoulder, we wonder how he would respond. But if Stinson and Whitaker are on, they're almost impossible to beat. And if they get a third guy, whether it's Hummel, Hollenbeck,
Sabo.
Yes, I mean, they are almost impossible to beat for any team up here in Northern Nevada.
Yeah, so they need that third scorer, and if they get it, it could be trouble tonight. On Galena, if they get hot from the outside, it could be big trouble for the Panthers. For the Cougars, excuse me. So our pregame show brought to you in part by Savages, and we'll take a timeout. We'll come back to tell you more about these two teams when we return to more. Stinson will get the call, not Zabo, number 20. Probably Zabo got it. Now the band striking up when we're back, getting ready for the teams to come out. Reminder, our play of the game. We'll see that also on our post-game show as our crew puts that together. It's brought to you by the home of the Cactus Creek Prime Steakhouse. At Bonanza Casino, they've been voted best in Nevada for 10 years and counting. We'll see our player of the game a little later on. One of the other features we talk about is our drive of the game. That's brought to you by Big O Tires. And this week, check in the Big O Tires location nearest you or go online to bigotires.com. Find out the deals because they've always got spectacular deals on tires at Big O Tires. They bring you the drive of tonight's ball game. I want to remind you to make a capital investment in your school by applying for a Capital Glass Athletic Grant. Submission forms can be found on nevadasportsnet.com under the high school tab. Capital Glass loves to give back. Also want to remind you at halftime, we've got a special feature for you. Who's Hot? It's brought to you by Sierra Air, a heating and air conditioning company whose priority is your comfort. Sierra Air. We'll talk about who's hot at halftime. Hummel with 7. Watch it on the row replay.
Well, Hummel got the scouting report from Coach Penny. Let's get everything to the rim.
So he'll be there to try to make it a three-point. I want to remind you, when you're hungry and on the move, Rowdy Bars gives you energy to take on the day. Go to rowdybars.com. We will keep it right here. The row, Eldorado Circus and Silver Legacy, love locals. They're continuing their 20% off dining at the row for the month of March. In all their restaurants, it's at the row in downtown Reno. Well, we're back. It's a halftime show brought to you by Savage & Son. First half dominated by Mason Whitaker on either side of the ball. He dominated. Cherry made a move for a while. He made a couple threes, but all of a sudden then he didn't get another shot.
Yeah, he made his first 2 3-point shots, Dan, but he got those late and then not another shot attempt. So definitely got to get more involved. It was Isaiah Duvet and Isaac Wood got him going early. But the key, though, if you told me Cardell Stinson would only have 4 points and Spanish Springs would be up 9 points, I would have said no way. So Coach Penny's got to feel pretty good about that because he knows his guy can get it going in the second half.
Yeah, Stinson got to the hole. They just didn't drop. They didn't go in for him. We'll see if Galena can fight back in the second half. They'll talk about it. They trail by 11. They've got it down to 9 at the intermission. They'll talk about it, see if they can turn things around. We're at halftime. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with more about these two teams when we return here on Friday Night Rivals. As we promised earlier in promoting this portion of our game, our Who's Hot segment, it's not going to take a genius to figure out who's hot because we talk so much about Mason Whitaker, but it's brought to you by Sierra Air, and their comfort, your comfort, and refreshment is their main goal at Sierra Air. So let's take a look at our Who's Hot segment here at our halftime. Whitaker from the corner lights up a three. Duvet on a nice offhanded drive.
Yeah, made some tough shots in that first half. And this is what Cardell Stinson can do. He can go places no other player on the court can go. That's high above the rim.
Time we mentioned he missed the shot and then got 2 offensive rebounds. There's Trey Hummel going with the offhand, his left hand. He's predominantly a right-hander. He gets by the defense. Chase Nelson with a nice wait and see look reverse layup.
They needed that basket. And here's Trey Hummel again from behind the three-point line. Young man brought his offensive game tonight. And you see here, nice little assist. Dump off there to save both for 2 points. In the microwave, Mr. Christie from behind the three-point line.
Like you said, he heats up, and then Whitaker with a second chance. We talked about that offensive glass. That's what Galena can't give up, and Whitaker has made him pay along with Stinson.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about his game. If the three's not falling, he can get to the rim.
And Wood with that big left hand using the glass. That's a nice driving layup.
Yeah, great drive by Isaiah Wood. And this is what Stinson has to do more of, attack the rim.
And then the block at the other rim off the iron and rolls into the hands of Wood, who calmly puts it up. And you know from 6-7 feet away, that is a very tough shot to do.
It is a tough shot. And, you know, Isaac Wood is great. I mean, let's face it, he brought his game here in the first half. Haven't got the looks he wanted from behind the three-point arc. I think Spanish Springs done a good job of containing that. But he's still looking to get it off the dribble.
I want to remind you, when you choose Sierra Air to heat or cool your home, you're not just buying a furnace or an air conditioner, you're buying expert advice, reliable service, and practical solutions from a team you know and trust. So I hope you enjoyed our Who's Hot segment brought to you by Sierra Air. We're at halftime. It's a 9-point ball game in favor of the home team, Spanish Springs. We'll take a timeout. We'll get ready for the start of the third quarter when we return with Friday Night Rivals. We are back. Both teams are out on the floor. At least the Grizz are there. The Cougs will be there shortly. One thing you miss, and I'm sorry to say this for our TV audience, but when you're at the arena like this, you've got 2 outstanding bands. Right now, the Cougars from Spanish Springs are playing. This portion of our game is brought to you by the Dolan Auto Group. They remind you to get in and join the family at the Dolan Auto Group. Here we are in the second half with one of our really fun features. It's our Colin Crossing Dentistry Smile Cam. And that crowd over there is from Spanish Springs, and they've been on their feet, they've been smiling, they've been hooping up all night long. At Colin Crossing Dentistry, they tell you the world always looks better from behind a beautiful smile, and right now, smiles or not, the scoreboard makes it look beautiful for Spanish Springs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to remind you, now enjoy the legendary Sonic Car Hop Classic with a juicy quarter-pound double cheeseburger or a 6-inch Philly cheesesteak, plus tots. That's all for a knockout price of just $2.99. Our game brought to you by the Savage & Son group of plumbers. They've been doing business for 125 plus years. They'll get it done right the first time. You give them a call, whether it's your office, your home, whatever it is, they'll tell you we're on it at Savage & Son.
This is what good players do. One about a credit. Let's see here, Dan. You got to find ways to get points on the board. Mason Whitaker can continue to attack the rim, and now you got a chance to get 2 more points.
If you want a credit union that has your back and real solutions, then One Nevada Credit Union is your place. Well, we told you once before, we'll tell you again in our postgame show, we have our player of tonight's ball game. And of course, that is brought to you by the people at Reno Sport and Spine Institute. At Reno Sport and Spine Institute, they have the only Alter G anti-gravity treadmill. It helps you get back in the game because you can be more mobile, you're more active, and the gravity They'll reduce the gravity, maybe reduce your weight by 50%. Makes it easier for you to train and work out. See them. They'll help you get back in the game. They've been doing it for a long time. Down to a 9-point game, but right now that's it. We want to remind you our play of the game. You'll see it in just a little bit in our post-game show, brought to you by Bonanza Casino. Bonanza Casino is the home of the Cactus Creek Prime Steakhouse. Think you know about that? You should go there. They've been voted best in Nevada 10 years and counting. This is just before halftime. Ball being knocked around. Galena stripped and then bounces into the hands of Isaac Wood, and he gets a little 6-footer. Take another look at it.
I mean, look at the number of guys just hustling down there for that play right there. And credit Isaac Wood for not giving up.
Cherry thought he was fouled. You see the way he turned and looked at the officials and said, hey, I was fouled. But it didn't matter. They got the basket, and that's the most important thing. That's our Big O Tires drive of tonight's ball game. We're in the postgame show. It got down to a 4-point game. It ended 54-49 with Spanish Springs hanging on, but they hung on by their chinny chin chins.
Yeah, they did. And credit Galena for coming out that second half and making a legitimate run at this basketball game. They were in it. Coach Frill did an excellent job at halftime making the adjustment. I thought trapping Mason Whitaker on the perimeter really gave Spanish Springs some problems. But I tell you what, Trey Hummel was big. We know Mason Whitaker. We know he's the cream of the cream. But Trey Hummel was unbelievable.
He did, contributed. They got down by 13 points, but the Grizz fought their way back and made it a ball game. We're in the postgame show. We'll have more coming your way. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back here at Spanish Springs High School on Friday Night Rival. Once again, we are back in our postgame show. As promised, we'll take a look at our player of the game. Is there any doubt? I mean, I think there were some votes for Trey Hummel. There's no doubt about that part of it.
Oh, yes.
And Duvet bringing them back with 3 3-pointers to total 17 points. But Mason Whitaker, we've seen him before. He's done it before. He does it again tonight. That's why he's our Reno Sport and Spine Institute player of tonight's ball game.
Well, you know, Dan, they say the cream always rises to the top, and no one was on top of Mason Whitaker tonight. As you see here, he goes above the rim for 2 points, showing you what he can do on defense. And look at the 3-point. Holds the follow through there, just knocks it down just like you teach it. Young man was terrific. And here's another one. Say, just in case I can show you I can do it with a hand in my face. But he got his points in a number of ways. Second chance opportunities, going up strong there. The boy genius, Jimmy Neutron there on the drive for 2 points. Unbelievable.
He had the first 5 points of the game, and he never slowed down. He kept going. Ended, as I said, with 26 points tonight. And you just leave him open. He's got that stroke that is so proficient and so soft.
Yeah, I mean, you see here, you mentioned early in the year that Cordell Simpson was the heart and soul of this team and Mason Whitaker was his spine. Well, they definitely needed his backbone tonight because he carried this basketball.
Group's Friday Night Rivals, presented by Sonic, America's Drive-In. Brought to you by Gustin Sports Productions and Nevada Sports Net. Be sure to tune in next week for more high school basketball action.